Hi, Rolf Snobeck here. Thanks for joining me again this week. So, I've spoken a couple times in the last few weeks about coating, restoration, sustainability, and I've had a couple of interesting calls, and a couple of them sounded something like this. Whoa, 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 too much information. Can you distill it down to a couple of key points? The 30,000 foot view is an airline pilot would call it. And so that's what I'm going to try to do today. First typical question that I've gotten is, why would we think about a coating as opposed to a re-roof? And maybe the best example I could give is if you're in the data center industry. Most are rather recent buildings built in the last 15 years or so. And they're generally well maintained just because of what's inside. They have to be well maintained. But you're starting to think about the reality that the roof may be nearing the end of its life, or you know, if you think of a 20-year being the answer. There's a lot of risk given what's inside a data center to tear off and put a new roof on. So if it's been well maintained, that's a great candidate for a restoration, as a for instance, and it significantly reduces the risk to what's inside. So you know, that's one thing. But the other thing people are curious about is, we talked about lots of options. Can we distill it down? That's what I want to kind of do for you here today. Is number one, in most cases, if you're thinking about a coating on a building, you're thinking a seasonal application. Can't be really done in the winter. So in most of the country, you're talking about summer and spring and fall if the weather's nice. Winter in most parts of the country, it's an option that's off the table. But there's basically a four-step process you want to go through if you're going to think about that. Number one is check out the roof. Is it a candidate to be repaired and restored? It has not been run to fail. That's number one. Number two, you're thinking about putting a coating on. Bring in a reputable manufacturer or professional contractor and do a peel test with the products that you think are appropriate for your building. Do a peel test and make sure that the product is physically going to stick. Number three, you pass those two, do a roof moisture survey. Let's identify where there may be any trapped moisture. That has to come out and be replaced with new dry insulation, new membrane in those areas. And then finally, call a doctor, professional contractor, to effect those repairs, get rid of the wet insulation, obvious other defects on the roof, and then apply the appropriate coating. And distilling through all of the different varieties out there, I'm talking about the two major ones here today, acrylic and silicone. Acrylic is typically, you see it a lot on metal buildings. You see it on conventional low slope roofs that have good drainage, that don't have any ponding water, and it works great there. Silicone is a better application if you do have areas of ponding water, and if you have a big building where maybe 95% of it drains well and there's a little bit of puddling in low spots, you may want to think about a hybrid application where you do acrylic over the majority of the roof and silicone only in those areas where you need to, because of the cost differential. So that is coating 101 from the 30,000 foot view, cutting through all of the other options that are out there to the two that are most common. Having said that, if there are any other topics you'd like to know about, shout out, let me know, and we'll do a video for those in coming weeks. And in the meantime, don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn at #RolfSnobeck or #RolfTheRoofingGuy. Thanks for being with me today. Take care.